There's a very strong new ad campaign out there this morning that is slamming President Obama's record when it comes to the U.S. economy. Take a look.
These are the facts about the Obama record. Unemployment up 25%, the national debt up 35%, the price of gas up 104%. Obama's $830 billion stimulus failed.
Shovel-ready was not as shovel-ready as we expected.
We all remember that moment just a week or so ago. So how much is the economy going to hurt the president in his reelection chances? Bob Beckel worked in President Carter's White House, and Andrea Tantaros is a Daily News columnist. Both are Fox News contributors. Welcome. Good to see you both this morning. Thank you, guys. Bob, you know, shades of the past, perhaps, in the Carter economy and in what we're seeing portrayed in this ad. We know that that led to a one-term presidency for Jimmy Carter. Talk to me about the similarities or the differences as you see them in this case.
I'm really glad you raised that, just to start Monday off with. Look, there are some similarities, but not many. I mean, interest rates were skyrocketing then. There were a lot of problems. There was the OPEC, there was gas lines, all kinds of things. But having said that, if you get this as an analyst, you say, how much is this going to, is this impacting President Obama? A lot. But here's the difference. It is an economy today. It's not the economy during the election year. And no matter whose predictions you believe, virtually all of them say it will get better by some margin. The question really is, in the end, somebody has got to challenge Obama. And that somebody has got to make a case for creating jobs and having a plan for the economy. And so far, I haven't heard it. And when we do have a nominee, a Republican nominee, I'll guarantee you my side will make it very difficult for them to explain themselves. Yeah,
it is obviously, Andrea. Bob makes a good point. People are in such a dire situation in so many parts of this country and so many families across the country. They're going to have to, you know, they're not going to necessarily want to take a gamble. They're going to have to be totally convinced that they've found somebody who can solve this problem to better effect and faster than President Obama has.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the numbers, the president is extremely vulnerable right now. I mean, you have 36% of Americans saying they would most certainly not vote. His support among independents and some Democrats has been eroding. And look, 48% of the country, almost half, thinks that we're heading into a Great Depression. Now, I don't know what studies Bob's reading from liberal think tanks, but the economic indicators, even looking ahead, are not positive. They just aren't. And so, yes, Election day, the economy could be different, but all signs point to the fact that it won't, and it will be Obama's economy on the chopping block. He's still likable. But just because he's likable doesn't mean he'll get people's vote. Just like Bob. I love him, but I wouldn't vote for him.
Some of those who've liked him the most over the early course of his presidency are coming at him pretty hard, including Maureen Dowd in her recent editorial. Let's take a look at what she said, Bob, and I want to get your thoughts on this. She says on the budget, he wants to cut spending and increase spending. On health care, he wants to get everybody covered, but will not press for universal system. On Wall Street, he assails fat cats, but at cocktail parties, he wants to collect some of their fat for his campaign. Very strongly worded stuff from her, basically saying that he's all over the place and not decisive and not showing leadership on a lot of issues.
Yeah, I like to read Maureen Dowd, but I will tell you this, what she is not is a political analyst. And, you know, look, let's get back to the reality of what this race in 2012 is about. It's about 50 states and their electoral votes. And a lot of the swing states right now, like North Carolina and Virginia, are doing much better than the rest of the country. People don't vote national averages. They vote the economy in which they live. And so in that respect, it is better than it looks, I think, overall. But secondly, I get back to my point, and Andrea, of course, as much as I care for her, could conveniently dodge the point. Who and what are the Republicans going to put up and show us that's going to make this any better?
Well, look, they're debating right now a very different set of ideologies. And you look at Washington, D.C. right now in the debt debate. Democrats want to raise taxes. They want to spend more. On the Republican side, they're saying, no, let's give the American economy some certainty. Let's not raise taxes. It would be the worst thing. And a majority of Americans say, look, we tried it Barack Obama's way. I think the Republican nominee, they're going to be very open to hear what they have to say. Obama doesn't have a plan, Bob.
I mean, you know, the Republican nominee basically has to come out and take the line that Andrea is talking about, which is the opposite of what this president has done in terms of looking for a way to solve the problem, Bob. And I don't think that you can negate the issue that Maureen Dowd brings up in this editorial. editorial, which is the leadership question for President Obama and whether or not he's been out in front on this. And now he's going to go into the room and try to hammer something out. You know, I mean, this is a real opportunity for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and one he's going to have and take. I mean, look, and generally Obama's been pretty good at overcoming obstacles and at the last minute finding a way out of this thing. Back to this, I mean, if you take who the Republican frontrunner is, Mitt Romney, I mean, he's making his whole case on, I can do a better job creating jobs and turning this economy around. Well, I mean, among his solidly Mormon base of contributors, I'm sure they probably believe that, but I'll tell you, here's a guy who was head of Bain Capital, and what did he do? He took companies, ripped them apart, put a lot of people out of work, and sold them as profits.
Bob, this will be more about President Obama.
No,
yes, it will. It absolutely will be. And I'll tell you, these sound bites about the shovel-ready jobs, about him talking about high-speed rail. I mean, to Martha's point, even liberals are having trouble defending him because he's been all over the map.
If you can give me one single thing the Republicans have said about creating jobs, then I'll buy it. But they haven't. They want to cut spending, which probably will cost jobs.
Cut spending, cut taxes. Grow jobs.
And we enjoy looking forward to this debate, believe me.
Bob and Andrea, we got a long way to go in this one. Thanks, you guys. Great to see you.